fresh. Who's up,
What up, Cyrus?
That was easy.
What's
good?
going on?
Shit. Life.
What up? Say what's up to the people.
Okay, can I see who's online? I see
Yeah.
I see the scrolling area. It's a little funny. Okay, I see some seed. I see some people. Okay.
Word.
Gotcha. Okay.
Slim Cat 78. It's in the place. Troy.
What's good?
What So you all know this is Fresh Convo Season 2. And we always start with telling people where you're from.
Oh, we starting an interview right now?
Yep.
Okay, let me get my where am I from? Let me get my notes. Okay. So now I was born in DC, man. I've been pretty much DMV my whole life. You know what I mean? Let's see here. I was born in DC when I was little. I lived in Trinidad for a little bit. Came back up when I was like 5, and I grew up mostly in Maryland, not too far from where I am now. I'm in the Arts District. What do you call it? Hyattsville. And just outside of DC.
Okay.
And went to High Point. I'm sure you'll go through that era
Yeah, definitely.
Howard, and after Howard, I lived in VA for a few. Lived in DC, then moved back to Maryland, and then bought my first place. Blah 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 blah. So DMV, and
DMV.
now I'm back. Not
You've
too
been
far.
all over DMV.
I'm not too far from where we all kind of been, working in the basement. When y'all come through my way, I'm about 2 blocks away from that area.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get into that. Okay.
Cool, sir. Yeah.
So let's start from the beginning. Do you remember when you were first introduced to hip hop?
Yeah, and I don't think it was hip hop actually. I think it was reggae.
Okay. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, but I don't remember my first reggae song. But I used to always, just growing up, just like when I was little, I used to always run to that radio and be hearing like whatever somebody's doing, some old, that reggae. 'Cause I think reggae is one of those the roots of hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
The first song I actually ever listened to that I just remember reacting to, like, what is that, was either The Message or Beat Street. That theme song, The Beat Street, the movie, did that whole grand overture or whatever you call it, and it started off with Beat Street, the king of the beat, rocking, and then it was just basically, I was like, what the hell is that? What year was that? I don't know. It's probably 83 or something.
83, 84.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then from then on, I think I was really getting into it like 85, 86, and started to hit that golden era kind of started. I started getting into, Run DMC was I think from that point, Run DMC got me, but I was quickly off of that, and I got onto like Rakim and, just game changers, people who were like notable for that in that area. BDP,
word. Yeah, that's dope. So you're actually saying that you started off with Grandmaster Flash.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. When you were listening to reggae, was it more reggae or was it dance hall? Like, there's different kinds.
All of it. Just
all of it.
At the bass. Lots of similarities to hip hop, that bass, and then those kicks, and then somebody just flowing over it, you know what I mean? And everybody had their own style, so it's definitely, so when Kool Herc brought it up here,
yeah,
it made a lot of sense. So, and I don't know if I transition, I always be, it's all the same thing to me, you know what I mean? So
that's dope. That's real dope. That's still coming from a perspective, like, you know, like you're a producer, so like, you know, somewhat there's like reggae roots in your whole inspiration.
Right.
Okay?
You know, I mean, my background is in calypso and soca, and had his own thing too. But all very similar. Lots of call and response, and lots of people writing stories, and I mean, just flipping rhymes and just kind of in the cadence. And then the beat was always just this cadence, you know what I mean? And people just be following along. And X tempo is like freestyling and all that stuff. People be free. So it's like all that stuff was like when hip hop came around, I was like, I was still home, you know. So
Word.
yeah.
That's real dope. What school did you attend?
So for high school, it was High Point, and then went to Howard. Went to Howard after for university.
Okay, so let's talk about High Point. Who did you meet in High Point?
Okay, so I think the first I think I was spitting some rhymes. Like I was writing rhymes, and I used to be making my sister rhyme with me and shit. And when I was like in elementary school, and it was always this thing. I used to draw a lot. I used to draw comic books and all that stuff. But I was like, I used to beatbox and write rhyme, and then I just kind of, you know, when I went into High Point, I was still writing here and there. You know what I mean? And then I remember I was just flowing like it just so, you know, in a cipher, you know. And I remember who was there. You know what I mean? And that's when I actually first met with the man Phil Bridge. What does he go by?
SB Methods, but now Bridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still calling Bridge. You know what I mean?
All good. It's all good.
Morning everybody's at the time. So Bridge, and he's the one that kind of approached me and say, yo, I got a set of people that I be hanging with, you know what I mean? And come through and join. So this was like, I think it was in my junior year, or I think it could have been sophomore year, but I think it was the junior year. But it may have been my sophomore year. And then started linking. He introduced me to the Juma brothers, and then Randy was my man. I don't know who you call him now, but I call him Rand. Rub Caeso, Rub Love. He was Laurel. You know what I mean? So they were already there, and I just kind of joined in like, hi, you know what I mean? And Cass was hanging out between Randy's crib and Phil's place. You know what I mean? I used to go to Phil's spot after school, and he was already set with I think he had his EPS already set up. I think it was his first, and I was EPS 16 plus. I have to emphasize that. Okay, yeah. So and like tapping beats at his place, you know, just staying up in there. I'll be hearing dinner cooking, you know what I mean? His mom's and all that stuff, and I'll just be there overstaying my welcome and shit, you know what I mean? That was when I first started tapping beats and shit, you know what I mean? So good memories.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. So just to tell people, when he's referring to the Juma brothers, it's C Popular and Chakra Ashram. So just let me. Yeah, those. I mean, Chakra has a lot of names, so
different names. You know what I mean? He was. I always called him Juma. Mike Juma. Schwa, for short for Swahili. I ran through my names too. I think you was gonna ask me what my names were before, like all this. I'm like, I'm gonna spare everybody that.
We go through a lot of names.
I'm not really good at names. So I just know him by Cyrus. Cyrus is my last name. Everybody just knows me as Cyrus, so it was just easy. And I'm like, okay, that's it. Because all these other names I be trying to find don't, you know, look like they're kind of silly. You know what I mean? Weird. So Cyrus kind of worked. You know what I mean?
Right. Definitely.
It's not the most unique because there's a lot of Cyrus. There's a handful of Cyruses in hip hop. You know, there's another producer out there or three named Cyrus, but it's whatever.
Yo, let's break down the hit. You broke down some of the history.
Yeah.
Let's break down the history of Hibernation.
Okay, so Hibernation actually started out with just like what I told you. We didn't really call ourselves Hibernation for we went again. We went through all kinds of funny little names and stuff. You know what I mean?
Do you remember the first name?
Probably Black Reality.
Wow.
People right now, I hope not. But probably Black Reality was like that first name. And then we had, okay, so it was a whole crew of us. So it was Phil, the Juma brothers, Randy. It was another cat named Mike Stewart. He's a cousin of Phil, I believe. We had this dude named Big Ant. My man Khalil. What was his name? Mellow K. Let's see here. We knew Joy. Joy was rolling with us for a little bit too. And she was rolling us more heavily when we met up with y'all later. You know, a few years later. Who else? Oh, I had some people that I used to look up to. This kid named Cam. And back at High Point, Priest. I knew Priest. Raheem Devon was there, but I don't know. I don't think he blossomed yet. They were cast out. So these weren't parts of our crew. I'm digressing, but that was Hibernation. So that was the earliest, and then we were called Black Reality, and then we did some songs. We didn't really hit the studio. We did some stuff and just did lots of stuff in the basement. I got all kinds of tapes. They're all captured. I'm going through them and digitizing them, giving everybody a heads up. Let's see here. So we went to Black Reality, and then so this is around the time when we were senior year in high school, and then we started to entering Howard. That's when we started going into our like groups within, so I remember Seed and my man, Keonanamo, Jerome. Oh man.
Oh, word. Peace to Jerome. Word.
I'll come across him in a few, you know what I mean? But gifted rapper, So we had the African connection, man. So you had Seed and Rome. He was in they were in a group called Dark Side. I was solo. I was just kind of all over the place. And when I entered Howard, that's when I started meeting other people, and that which led us to all meeting you. So Juma and Randy was in a group called the Grassroots. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then I started joining the Grassroots because they was on fire. So I was like, okay, let me join y'all. You know what I mean? And so, I was kind of like all over the place. And then, so that's like all the early. I remember we had another crew name called Black Pearl. It was all kinds of. We went through all kinds of iterations, if you will. You know what I mean? But
that's what's up. That's what's up. But it's sort of like the same people in it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, everybody in the crew was, doing things. I mean, everybody was doing like their own like solo stuff, group stuff, collaboration. I was doing beats for the Dark Side. Was doing stuff with me. Seed had solo joints. Randy picked up his first machine was a Mirage, and my first machine was a S950, an Akai S950, and then I sold that to get my first machine, which was an ASR 10, and to this I kept that thing, but I sold that to get into to Korg Tritons and all kinds of other things, and so everybody was just switching up here and all over the place, but I did a lot of great stuff I think my ASR 10 was my best years, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yo, tell us who made up the name Hibernation. Like, how did that come about, and what's the meaning behind it?
Juma came up with that name. I remember that. And Juma was very good at Juma as in.
Yes, which Juma? Chakra Ashram?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Juma comes up with the names, as you can tell. He comes up with all kinds of names. So I remember that came from him, and everybody was like, yeah. Because we'd be staying up late. We used to stay up so late in the basement, and we'd be sleeping. I mean, sunrise would be coming up a lot of times too, and a lot of times we'd be sleeping until we weren't all driving. So Randy was the one driving everybody home. And then and I think Hibernation just kind of was indicative of our laid back demeanor. You know what I mean? We were pretty sleepy.
Okay.
Chill like that. We were chill. But yeah, and then at that time, I'm thinking this is like 90. When did we meet y'all? 94, 93?
I think we met in like 94, 95.
Yeah, 94, 95. Okay, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, most likely 94. And by that time, we was rolling with. We've met all kinds of people, man.
Right.
What's
Yeah,
what's
we'll get into that. So yeah, that's dope. I mean, that explains like the style. You guys, whoever heard of Hibernation, right?
right?
It's sort of like this chill vibe, but very lyrical. Like
Yeah, almost too chill.
yeah, chill but lyrical. And
Yeah.
and from what I got, it was you and Randy who did the beats, or was it random people? Or
Oh well, it was me and Randy doing beats. Now Randy did a bunch of beats for when and I just found these tapes too. So get ready. Randy did beats when he was collabing with Juma on, and they were in a group called
Grassroots. Yeah.
He did the beats for that. I did a couple beats. But Randy, I think Randy did a whole ton of beats, and then he kind of started to. I think when I started being more the beat person, and around this time everybody was in and out, like it was in school, so it was just we had to coordinate on everything. So I started gravitating, and I guess I was getting known for my beats because I started producing for a bunch of people outside the crew. We can get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But
Randy,
tell me, like you emceed as well as did beats. Like how did that come about? Like what inspired you to be like, all right, well I can MC as well as like produce. Like sometimes they pick. Like Zach, Slimcat 78, Zach, he used to rhyme and make beats. And I would always ask him like, how do you do that? What was your like process for that?
I got into beats. I didn't even really, because my passion at the very beginning was rhyming. I wanted to be the best rhymer ever and all that stuff. And you know how when you kind of like this, you're young and you're real good, and then you kind of start to pivot a little bit. And I was doing beats so to back up my rhymes and all that stuff. So I was just making beats to back up my rhymes, and then I did a solo tape. I did it like in 1 week, and it was called The Prophet Speaks, man. And I found it the other day too, but that's the last time you'll ever hear that.
Wait, did you like let anyone hear it?
Oh yeah, people heard it. And I think y'all got copies, but thankfully you'll probably lost it too, so it's all good.
Well, we need to hear this.
Yeah. I'm digitizing everything, so we'll all get together, have a laugh. We'll talk about how I'm gonna get it out there. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
I was really doing the beats to back up my rhymes and all this stuff, but people started to notice the beats more and my rhymes. I think I was getting a little neurotic with my rhymes. So it was almost like I felt like this is my paranoid side speaking. It's like people were like, shut up with the rhymes, let's hear the beats, you know what I mean? So
Nah. Let me tell you, as a fan, right? I'm a fan, and I'm your brother. Yo, you got words, you got bars, man.
Yes, thanks, man.
I'm telling you got bars, and plus the style and the cadence. It's like it's really dope. And I'm just thinking like the way you make beats as well. It complements your style.
Good, thanks.
So the Hibernation joints, like when you hear it, you know what I'm saying? That's why this is why I love Hibernation, right? I love Hibernation because you guys had different styles, and just the wordplay and everything. It's just
right.
So I keep telling C this. I keep telling Chakra this, and all of you guys. It's just like, wow. Yeah. When we first met you at Freestyle Union, you know what I'm saying? It was just crazy because like, you don't expect to like go to Freestyle Union and see iller MCs, and you just see all these ill MCs, and it's just like,
that's
crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, it was dope when me, Slim Cat, my brother, met you guys, and we were just like, wow, these cats are ill, yo. They in Maryland? Oh my God.
We said this.
That's what's up. But like, yeah. Let's talk about the Hibernation tape. Yeah.
Which one?
You remember the Hibernation tape? I guess it's the first one. What was the process of making that?
Oh man, again, that was around what, 93, 94 through 95. I'm not sure which year, 94, 95, when we did our first, I guess you could say, demo tape, and it was called the Winter Sampler. And it was pretty much, yeah, I think it was pretty much all my production. I did these beats, and it kind of created itself, because we were in the basement at Randy's spot, and I think this was at the time. Oh no, I wasn't quite living there just yet. Like I was bunking there for a hot minute, you know. But yeah, I cracked these beats open. We would basically meet. We write stuff on the spot. We do a draft. You know what I mean? And then we head up to Burke, Virginia, man, and we were in this guy's garage, man. Sticks. We called him Sticks. I don't remember his real name, but we recorded a lot of them joints at Sticks.
Right.
Sticks had that sound, and you know, he gave us our first like that big sound that everybody was like, okay, yeah, we feel kind of big here. We put our pennies, we rubbed our nickels together, you know what I mean, and paid them, and yeah, and that Winter Sampler was and shout out to my man Steve O. I tried to what's his name?
His name now is Coyote.
I saw that. Okay, but Steve O, he was our biggest backer, man. He had so. I remember when I first met him, I was like, man, he had the most incredible energy. It was the kind of energy that we needed to get anything out, you know, out there. You know what I mean? Because we were collectively laid back. You know what I mean? In a lot of ways. You know what I mean? But yeah, he pushed us, and still have the tape. Well, that tape is not lost. That tape is around.
Right.
All right, I got it digitized and everything. I think y'all got some songs, or it's out there. But that was that. I guess you can say put us on the proverbial map for whatever that was. You know, DC and all that stuff got us known with y'all, because that's when we were hearing our sounds, and y'all were reacting to it. And I remember y'all were doing like remixes to stuff that we did in the tape. You know what I mean? So the press joint is about 4 versions of
yeah. So like people are getting confused. There's a lot of versions of press. There's one with Seed. There's a press joint with Slim Cat, Coyote, and Philly.
Yes.
And then there's one with you and Philly.
And
remember that joint?
You were in it too.
No, I wasn't in it. I did the chorus. I'm done with the chorus in the backup, but it was basically.
We did it too, and you're gonna talk about it too. We're gonna do it. We did it at Tony's place. So we did some.
Yeah. We'll talk about Tony's place too.
Right.
All right. Okay. Talking about C Popular, there's 2 versions of the song. Was Rough and Rugged, right?
Yeah.
That you did.
The first one was in that Winter Sampler.
Okay.
And again, just like the rest of the songs, the song created itself, and then I don't know, man. I think I was just pumping out beats, man, and people just had that. They just responded and C just took over the track, and he just like, yo, this is me. Bam, we recorded. I remember we recorded that Sticks, and everybody, and I don't think everybody was paying attention, or I'm not even sure we had a draft. But in the studio, everybody was like, whoa, see? Little C, you know what I mean? And yeah, he told it that was a very spectacular track. That was definitely a highlight of the tape, you know what I mean? And then there was a remix that I did where I remember you know what I mean, I was kind of obsessed with putting more sequencing behind the beats, not just like breaks, but putting lots of breaks in the drum patterns and doing all kinds of stuff with it. So the second version was something we did in the basement, but I like it a lot better. I'm still trying to find. I got a segment of it, but the drums were wild on that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where we just Well, it was J. Rue the Damager had the hook, you know, the sample, you know, rough and rugged, and yeah, C recorded it again, and it was a slightly fast and this and that, but it was definitely special. But that was a pivotal moment. I won't say pivotal, but it was a high moment, yeah, in the Winter Sampler.
Word. Well, Rough and Rugged made it to Heavy Water, so you'll hear that on
Heavy Water, okay.
Volume 2. That's the name of the Amphbns Volume 2 joint. Do you remember a recording, Master Plan? I think that's what it's called. It's you, Slim Cat 78, Philly, and I.
Okay,
so remember that recording?
Master Plan was one of countless joints that we just did just spontaneously. Y'all used to come over. Either y'all mostly at my spot, and I had the ASR and the 4-track or whatever recorder that was there at the time, and little mixer board. And then we were in that little room, and this is when I was actually staying in Randy's spot because you know, rented a piece of his house, and we were there. And it was one of countless joints that I did with y'all guys. You know what I mean? Collab with you guys. So yeah. I can't specifically what it was because it was so many. Now Master Plan, I'm not even sure that I believe we did that in my place. Yes.
I think we did that at your place. But were you staying at Randy's? Because I forgot whether it's your place or it was at Randy's place.
Yeah, it was Randy's place. So.
Okay. So you were living with them at that time.
Yeah. And you know, I rented a spot, a piece downstairs. I was there. I took a break from Howard because I changed my major. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I only knew about beats. You know what I mean? So I worked part-time, and I was just living kind of like a semi-starving artist. You know what I mean? And it was probably like a year and a half or so. It was before I decided to go back to school and change my major and finish it up. But I think one of the best couple of years of my life where I was just basically just cranking beats and hanging with y'all, you know what I mean? Hanging with a lot of...
Yeah. Now, I remember the recording session.
Yeah.
It was just dope. It just like clicked like that.
Yeah.
And then you and Slim Cat were just like putting out the beats, and it's just like we're just like writing, and then we knocked it out. So
it's crazy, and that was every time we linked.
Every time.
I'd be like dead tired. I'd be like, you know what I mean? And y'all just be like, come on, let's record. You know what I mean? I'm like, you know, press record. You know, your turn, do your verse. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, all right. You know what I mean? But
right.
We'll
talk. Well.
I'll be listening to
while we continue talking about songs. Also, we had a song called 0 Degrees.
Yes.
That was with that was 0 Degrees 1 and 2. One was with Hibernation, me and my brother.
Right.
Steve-O was in it. And aka Keoti. The second version was with Khalil Jamal and Scorpion.
Yep. I got both versions. I got them all.
Sick. Those were good times. I remember late nights, just writing and then just knocking it out. Like I
got all those versions, bro.
And then doing the chorus all together in that little room where we're all circling the mic.
But I'm saying, remember this, right? But do you have these? Do you have copies of these?
I do, but they're like, you know, tape version, so it's just like it isn't.
I'm saying that we all got tapes, you know, and then tapes the job like but anyway. But yeah, I got them. So yeah, we just, I mean, it's countless. Man, they were Master Plan.
Yeah.
And man, there was so many. Empty Your Cup. We'll talk about the Tony's house situation.
Yes, we are going to talk about the Tony situation. We got to.
You and your brother.
Yeah, we did a song with Jamal, which was a song about you.
I think that was Jamal did too. Either Jamal, Jamal.
You were on there.
I remember doing that. I remember like when y'all were at my place and we actually recorded it, and I had to write a verse, and I was like, "Are you serious? You seriously want to do this?" I got a Cyrus flow. Is a flow named after me now. You know, it's whatever. But that was a fun.
I tried to mock your flow. I tried to like in that song, I try to mock your flow.
Everybody's trying to do their own version of this wordplay that they say I be doing. I'm just like, oh, okay, if y'all say that, if y'all say so. But that song was still be listening
That
to
song
that.
was pretty dope. That song was pretty dope, even though I know you hated it.
Well, I don't hate it. Like, I listened to it, and yeah, Philly came on first, man, and he just anchored that song in a way, you know what I mean? And he just he anchored the song from the beginning, you know what I mean? And
Jamal had the hook.
Yeah. I remember I was listening to Jamal's interview with you, and he said I think that was the only song he did with me, you know what I mean? I think that's true.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we actually collab. Big up to what's Jamal's Joeytoofresh now?
Joeytoofresh, yeah. So we we brought Joeytoofresh over, and then we did this song. It was dope, you know. It's another Amphbn moment right there. It's just like, all right, we're gonna do a song now, you know. The same with Master Plan with Slim Cat.
Yes, Master Plan.
It was just like, you know, so you think about those times, it's just like, all right, we're gonna go to Randy's place, we're gonna do these songs with Cyrus, you know, and everybody who's there. So that's how 0 Degrees came in. Like, we all were there, so we all were right. Yo, Troy was even there. He didn't write, but, like, you know, he was there.
Troy was a fixture, man.
Big up to Troy, you know what I'm saying?
And way later, like, you know, early 2000s, or mid 2000s actually, early mid 2000s. Troy did some recording, you know, and I ain't forget you, Troy. I got you. You in that project, but that's we'll paperclip that. But yeah, Troy was a fixture. Steve and Troy. Who else, man? Man, we did so much stuff. I mean, did collaboration with John, and people used to come out and do solos. John Moon did this.
Right.
Big up to Shamir. You know what I mean? What's his name now?
Oh, yo. His name is Wong. But yo, how about Untitled Number 1?
Untitled Number 1.
That's a song you did with Scorpion.
That was, again, everything that we did was unexpected. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I think at that time, I'll just break it down. Remember, at that time, we all, I don't know if you were there for that, but we all picked from 2 hats, name producer and names at the hat, who's going to work with each other. And you and Scorpion came up, so you guys did your joint.
Was it for a project? It was for a collaboration project or something, right?
Yeah, it was for an Amphbn joint that we were supposed to actually do. But it was just like, you know, we did it, but never put it together.
Yeah, but we did a bunch of pieces. I remember doing a track with John Moon and Joy.
Right.
Yeah, but go ahead. Untitled Number
1. So Untitled Number 1.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. That song was amazing.
Yeah.
Scorpion killed that joint. You killed that joint too. Like, yo, it's just like, wow. Like, you know, when we all heard it, was just like,
so
lyrical madness right here.
I think if you that was kind of like an epitome of me doing some more wordplay. Yeah, that was the track where I was doing some wordplay. But Scorpion came on and he was like, his lyrics are let me tell you something. I'm revamping that song, and it's going to be in this in like future projects. It's already he actually did his lyrics over, same stuff. You know what I mean? But that's the lyrics was just crazy. Scorpion's lyrics was just crazy. You know what I mean? This is about 5 before I fuck this guy, give me a pair of New Balance. That's the moment of the century for me. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? The serpent in your Adam's apple. Oh my God. Yeah. Anyway.
Yo, that version is nuts. That version is fucking nuts, man.
Yeah.
Part of my French.
Oh, all good.
Nah, man, just like thinking about it, and
but that was a legendary track. It was legendary. So yeah, that's something that I always be listening to. I was like, nah, there's no way I'm gonna like believe that, because I mean the original versions, I think they're all kind of like the tapes are weak and everything, you know what I mean? So And the beat, you know, nothing was like EQ. It's just really raw. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm piece it back together. You know what I mean? I know where I got the sample from. I think it was Les McCann and all that stuff. So it's very simple. You know what I mean? But I you know, don't sleep on that song. It's gonna be
Right.
21.
Yeah, y'all. I mean, if forever, I mean, for whoever heard it, they know what we're talking about. They know what we're
Yeah,
talking about. That song is just,
I
it's
think
just
soon.
crazy.
I think soon enough we'll know. It'll be put out. If it's
Right,
going to
right.
be on this project, so be it. You know what I mean? But
True, true.
it's gotta be. And this, I think there's a handful of joints that I think we should kind of resurrect it and kind of like just kind of update it and just you know, record it on some of our new equipment and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
pocket.
Because like now, like you know, tell us about that. Let's go into that. The equipment you used before to now. What's the difference?
Oh well, see, well now, well okay. So before it was mostly just we had various 4-tracks. We ran through 4-tracks. We ran through I remember I had a Tascam 8-track, an 8-track joint that was pretty tight, and I that's when I was recording the Inshallah stuff,
What?
and I put my ankle in that, and I was really obsessed with trying to get the perfect sound out of an 8-track recorder, which was pretty impressive, you know what I mean? Because I was trying to have more control over my sound, like Dilla style, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just more control of your sound, you know what I mean? So there were 4 tracks. I forget the brands that we had, man. There was so many brands that we ran through. But it went from like 4-track, I forget the brand, then it was a Tascam 8-track that I was doing the Inshallah tapes on, and then after everybody graduated, you know, from college, you know, circa 2000, that's when we started to kind of, I was entering the workforce, and I was just in another place in life, you know what I mean? But a few years later, I picked up Roland 1680, I believe it was called, and I was doing beats out of a Korg Triton, and there was another one that they discontinued the Triton, and they M1 or M6 or M5, one of the M's or whatever. Like Triton, well, it was one of their keyboards that they actually you know, they resurrected, and the sound library and all that stuff was dope. So between the Korg Triton and that Korg M1, let's call it M1 or whatever, it was I was doing beats out of there, and then a Roland, and then I decided to just go hard and get Cubase. And since then, it's been 100% Cubase, because, you know what I mean?
That's real dope.
Was just 100% Cubase. Some reason in there, you know what I mean? I did a track just to kind of just like feel it out. I had Reason synced up with Cubase, and I caught on quickly. And not only that, it was just I just felt it's so empowered to have so much control over my sound, you know what I mean? So it was on Cubase that the Hibernation project didn't start with Cubase. It started with the Roland, but transferred everything to Cubase, and we finished off a lot of joints.
Like, do you notice the difference in sound and like your style of music from the different equipment that you use? Like from now, like, do you feel like your style has changed or evolved?
Yeah, style definitely has evolved, but as far as the sound quality and all that stuff, I mean, you know, when you know exactly the sound that you want and you have the means to do it digitally,
Mm-hmm.
all the virtual versions of everything that we were doing in the 90s, and here you have it in the computer and a few like audio interfaces and stuff. You know, I had a few external items, but basically everything was just virtual, and you can just tweak that sound, get that. I was pulling up all kinds of virtual versions of like lots of, you know, sound processors that took it back to that warm tape sound. So yeah, major difference in the sound, obviously. And as far as the style, you know what I mean? You can say that there was a time where you know, when we were in neck deep in the Hibernation project and all that stuff, and I was experimenting. I actually started playing a lot of music, and I was for a while. Like, when ASR days, I was sampling a lot, but now, I mean, at that point, I started playing stuff, and I just wanted to have more control over the sound and be more original. And then I felt like I need to express myself more so on the musicality of it all, without making it sound too, you know, pretty and shit like that. You know what I mean? So a lot of stuff that, you know, probably that you're hearing from that era, you think it was samples, but nah, not really. I didn't stop sampling, but I started playing a lot more stuff.
Oh, that's dope. Like a lot of your melodies came from you, exactly.
Yeah, the keyboard, and when you have a keyboard and sequencing, you just, you know, I was always playing bass lines, you know what I mean? So I was always, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's okay, there's one more song, okay? We're gonna talk about, but we're gonna talk about the infamous day we went to Tony Blackman's house and she went away and recorded. You recorded about like how many songs? Like 5 songs that day?
Yeah, at least
like 5 songs.
5 and
and
7.
And it was amazing. You
again.
We did a song called "Empty Your Cup."
Yes.
And so it had you, Baking Soda, had Shamir, had Slim Cat, Philly, me and Philly. That song till this day, man. I mean, when let people hear this song, they're like, "What is this?" Like, I was like, "Yo, that's what we were on."
Woo!
Baking Soda killed it.
Oh my God!
Shamir killed it. Like, everybody killed that joint. It's just like
it was like it was a kung fu movie, dog. Because everybody had their styles, man.
Yeah, they were ready.
And I remember when I wrote my verse, and I was like, yo, let me get myself out the way and all that stuff. And again, I love Wonderful Sobriety because I don't think it was the very first song that we recorded, because I remember spending the day with Baking Soda, and I did about 2 tracks with her.
Right,
you know?
Right.
So I was kind of like, you know, it was night, and we were like, I think did we do it over in one day, or was it like over a weekend or something like that? Anyway, but yeah, so I got my verse recorded. I got out the way. Shamir popped his verse in, and that transition from my verse to Shamir was legendary. Then Baking Soda came in.
Then Baking Soda.
And then she was talking about stop this and whack MCs because it's not.
Yeah, she dissed Biggie.
I
got one of them.
It was just a very introspective, contemplative person. She was just talking to you, and I was like, everyone was like, what the fuck? You know, this was after Shamir did his thing, because he did some old straight up. Somewhere he was doing some old he did some astral shit. You know what I mean? And then, you know, Philly came in and Philly came with the whole nunchuck flow. You came in with that mellow flow, and then Ak anchored it at the end and all that shit. I was like, man, and Ak thing is
Slim Cat 78 killed that joint.
You don't rhyme like that? You murdered.
I'm like, yo, you should still be rhyming today. But you know, we'll get into that later. You too. But you killed it as like everyone was hungry. That it seemed like Empty Your Cup was just like everybody was hungry, and that energy.
Yeah.
You know, big up to Tony Blackman for having that those sessions. You know, you also did another version of Press with Philly. I forgot what else other songs you did there, but
that was off that Hawaiian record, the record of Hawaiian samples. It was some ukulele type stuff that y'all gave me, right?
Right.
That, and then we did that press version. It was one of those joints I probably like to forget as far as my verse is concerned and the beat, but
your version, I don't know. I think you were going through some girl stuff for real. I don't know. It was kind of emotional.
You and your brother did this joint called Day by Day. That was hot. Remember that? Day Day by day. You and your brother. That was the You and Your Brother track.
You got that joint? Because I
Oh, yeah.
forgot.
I think I played that segment. I got it.
Oh, damn.
Baker Soda did a couple tracks. She did this one. Well, one was Aquamarine, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Aquamarine. Oh, my gosh.
Did it in one take, too. I think she did it in one take. Because I remember when we recorded it, I mean, I had the beat, and it was a beat that I used to play in Freestyle Union ciphers. You know what I mean? So the beat was already sequenced and everything. She just came and just flowed right over it. And it was almost, you know, I think I sequenced it for another track or something like that. But when she put her verse over it, I mean, it just pocketed right in. You know what I mean?
Yo.
But I got a good copy of that too. You know what I mean?
Big up to Baking Soda. That's all I gotta say. Big up to Baking Soda. We love you. If you're out there, we love you.
Absolutely.
And so many memories. One of the illest, like
all those like all kinds of unexpected moments, but it's like so much like talent that the world doesn't know like that. You know what I mean? But it's like I feel lucky just to be like, yo, I know some
yeah, like you did songs with her, Slim Cat did songs with her, HL, you know what I mean? So I mean, wow.
Right.
Yeah, and Bridge as well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah,
like yo, like that day at Tony Blackman's house, I don't know, there was an energy there. There was an energy there.
Yeah, right. I was there house sitting because Tony and Sub, big up to Sub Z.
Yeah.
They were out of town. They went to New York, I believe, you know. So I was there. They said house it, you know, I think I had to just water their plants, you know what I mean? So
you put out the amphibians. You put out the amphibian sign.
We made a
you got everyone there.
We made a mess. I was, you know, it was again, and y'all just came through there, man, and we just was just lounging because we always be hanging out. It's that social factor, you know what I mean? Where
right,
we just,
right.
Just hanging out and just kind of, and just, you know.
Yeah, you're right. So like whenever you call, like you put out the amphibian signal, we're there, and it's just like normal for us. It wasn't pressure for us to go over there and be like, oh, we're gonna do songs. We wanted to do songs. So we did. So I don't know if she knows till this day. She might see this interview and be like, what? And it was just like, we made classics in that joint.
Oh, yeah.
We made classics in that joint. When you make classics at other people's house, it's just amazing. And
yeah.
Hopefully we'll put out Empty Your Cup. I mean, it was a very good time, though. It was a very good time.
It's a good quality, man. All we gotta do is, like, you know, do a little clean, a little editing, sharpen it up, but it's still perfect. You know, it's got that character. The sound quality is good. You know, we did. Yeah, it was a 4-track recording. Yeah, so we got it in.
Talk about Tony Blackman.
Let's
talk about your Freestyle Union experience.
Right.
Well,
so I got to know Freestyle Union through, so I think this was around 92, 93, right? 93, because we were entering, I remember entering Howard, and we were kind of like, Howard was going through that golden era. It was at start, you know, campus was just lit up with just rappers, and, you know, so that energy was there. But I met Sub Z, and at the time his name was Timbuktu.
Okay.
Or, excuse me, Timbuk. And we met at, I believe we met at Black Denali. Probably the old Insect Club. Probably. Remember them? Remember that? It was 930 Club or something like that. I feel like it was. Club. Yeah. And we were just showcasing. Everybody and their grandmother was rhyming and everything, you know. So Grassroots performed. I don't know if I don't think I got to perform that night. But Sub-Z got on, and we were like, who the fuck is that? You know what I mean? Who is that? And Sub-Z was like, who is they? You know what I mean? So I faced with Sub-Z, and then he basically was like, yo, them beats, you know what I mean? So I started I did about maybe like maybe 3 or 4 songs with him. We were in the studio, and it was through Sub-Z that I met Tony, Kokai. Then that's when Tony and everybody, you know, I started becoming aware. We were all becoming aware, and that's when I started connecting my crew with everybody there. And it was there where, you know what I mean, where we met. I mean, I'm talking about Freestyle Union. We would ciphers. There was all these ciphers, and I remember meeting y'all for the first time.
Right,
you know?
right.
So I think that was at HR. Was it HR 57?
HR 57. Yep.
Yeah. We met?
And then Coffee House.
Right. I remember meeting y'all because I remember when I was freestyling, I called you guys Hispanic because I thought y'all were Hispanic and shit. And you corrected me and said, "You're like, we're Filipino." I was like, "Oh, okay." You know what I mean? But yeah. But Freestyle Union was just like, yo, the way that Tony kept it in this so communal, and it was just this community, and it was also the emphasis was on creativity and improvisation. That was something things that you just don't see today. Hate to sound, you know, like somebody's uncle, but yeah, the way she kept, and everybody was very sharp, you know what I mean, and standards were high and all that stuff. So yeah, and I met y'all, and then, you know, I was doing music for his Freestyle Union. Tony had a group called Daughters of the Cypher. I remember hitting them off with some beats. Kokai and Sub-Z, and shout out to Black Indian. They were in Opus Amphbns. They were doing their thing. Hibernation was doing their thing. We met y'all. We were starting to chop it up with y'all and mix it up with y'all. You know what I mean? So yeah.
So we gotta thank Freestyle Union,
yeah,
for our communion.
For your what?
For our communion, for our community.
Yeah, for everybody, meeting everybody like the way they did.
Yeah. Definitely.
All kinds of people was going through their schisms and all that stuff. I remember Tony's letters, you know.
Well, yeah.
But and it was around that time that, you know, later, that's when, and again, meanwhile, Hibernation was going through all their schisms and all that stuff too, but towards the tail end of that whole experience, so towards like 96, 97, that's when Inshallah started to become, to form, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're getting into that now. So with Inshallah, what was the concept behind the group?
Man, Inshallah was when I started. Okay, so remember that time I told you that I was out of school and just doing the whole starving artist thing. So I got back into school, changed my major, got back into school, and started getting busy with school. But I had to keep the beats going. And around that time, I started re-entering re-entering Howard. I remember I was like, you know, seeing everybody doing their things in the Freestyle Union. I'm trying to remember what state we were in as far as Hibernation goes. Mike, I know Juma no, that came a while after he joined the armed forces for a second. But yeah, I think everybody was internally going through all their different schisms and, you know, iterations where everybody was hooking up, you know, as far as like being in groups with people and not doing solo and all that stuff. So out of all that, I looked at Randy, and Randy was doing stuff with what was the group the Freestyle Union group that I believe it was called Solar Plexus or something like that, or there's something with involving a chakra or something like that. I don't know. The chakras, yeah. So that was Randy was in a group with Tony and Kokai and Sub-Z, and they were calling themselves the chakras and all that stuff. And they were performing and doing their thing and all that stuff. So Randy was there. And then I remember, like, I started doing these beats, and I started having these visions of doing something like, because I was so inspired by like Pete Rock and CL Smooth. They were like the cornerstone of what hip hop was truly all about. I'm not sure if some village started coming on the scene, but we started to recognize. I started to become aware of them through my man rap. You know what I mean? Right. But I started and I was listening to a lot of black jazz records and all that stuff, and I remember like the feeling that I would get from them, like that pure hip hop sound, with like a pure message. And we had some standards. And I remember I was like doing ASR 10 beats, but I was like reaching like a pivot with that, you know what I mean? So, you know, we put together about what, 8 tracks. And I remember, you know, doing that on the 8 track and everything. And it was, yeah, it was nuts. Never got released, but we're not dead yet. So we'll leave it at that. In fact, see that?
Release it.
See that? That is an album cover, actually. But
That's the album cover.
And that's the Inshallah emblem. But I'll leave it at that.
There you go. You see it first, exclusively. The Inshallah cover that was supposed to come out right behind him. Right
Yes, sir.
Right behind the bush.
Yeah.
The tree. Word. That's really dope. So, I mean, okay, from what I understand, Juma was in the group before, and then it was just you and Randy.
So yeah, Juma was in the, okay, let's see. Yeah, again, we were going through all our little iterations through groups, because Juma was in a group with Randy, and then it was the 3 of us, and then we were doing songs as a whole crew, you know what I mean? And then I'm trying to remember if it was like Juma was busy doing his own. He had some things that I think he was going through his life thing or whatever, you know what I mean? And I would see some people more than others. And at the time I was living there, so I was very closely associated with Randy. And big up to my man Stylus, you know what I mean? DJ Stylus.
Word.
And all that stuff. So it was a proximity thing. It wasn't like Juma was not around or was, you know, whatever, you know what I mean? And I think there were times where, you know, where like we record songs and all that stuff, and if verses didn't fit, you know what I mean, things were expressed and all that stuff. So that could be misconstrued as whatever. But we did a song called Inshallah, and that's an Inshallah song and a hibernation song, you know what I mean? So and we did so many songs together that could be considered hibernation or Inshallah, you know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
So like we never really did things in stone. We never really, you know, published or do, you know, so it wasn't in stone. So it's like to say that, oh, he was in a group and he was not in a group, it's not like we were never that official, you know what I mean?
Right. So it was sort of like a family thing where, like, you know, whether it was Inshallah or hibernation, whoever was in it, it was just, they were just there. That's dope. That's real dope. Like, you know.
Inshallah is mostly known as me and Randy because we performed that way. Me and Randy would be
right. I remember the performance at 2K9 at the Philly joint.
Yes, State of the Union, 2K9. We was in New York a few times.
Right.
We met Unspoken Herb. We met Asheru in his room, and I remember that night. We went to New York. We were hanging with Grab Lover and Pete. We were in Pete Studios and all that stuff. So Inshallah was like me, Randy, and then DJ Styles was our thing. But you know, it wasn't like anybody else. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
right.
You know.
Nah, that's dope. So
yeah.
if Inshallah ever comes out, you should definitely hear it. Like, you know, once again, there's that element there that
gotta be a win. So
right. There's that element there that you'll understand if you heard Hibernation and you heard Inshallah. There's that element there that you can like pick up once you hear it. But yeah, man. Once again, this shit is dope, man.
Right.
Yeah. So let's talk about the collabs you did outside your crew. Like, who did you work with?
Again, countless stuff. I remember when so during that whole era, of course, I can just run through the names, the Amphb names. We already mentioned them. You know what I mean? So everybody, Amphbns. You know what I mean? Pretty much. I even did stuff with Khalil. I think Khalil had one of my beats and he just spit some rhymes over it. This is one beat I'll never forget, but it was a very slick beat, very nocturnal. Oh, that was one of our names in Hibernation. Anyway, forgot about that. Of course, Rashad, Scorpion. Of course, John Moon, Joy. May she rest in peace. You know what I mean?
Rest in peace. Yes.
Oh my God. To you and your brother, Ak, did stuff with my man Jay.
HL.
Yeah.
Blackberry.
Or Blackberry Jones or whatever, you know. So outside the crew, Jamal, I think I mentioned that already. I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anybody, because if I did, I apologize. Then outside the crew, Sub Z, Rap Lover, Raheem Defan. I remember even Tamara Wellens. I did some songs where she was. I did some R&B. I hooked up with who else? Oh man. There's one notable moment that people tend not to believe, but I did some stuff with Rich Harrison, you know Rich Kraft, who did music behind Mary J. Blige and you know, A. Marie, the guy behind those sounds.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Started out, you know, when I was still on my S950, and when I got my my ASR 10, I was trying to do I had these concepts that I thought were unique to me, which was basically, you know, odd bar loops, you know what I mean? And I remember explaining that concept to him, and he recorded some joints, because at the time he was called Sticker Bush and all that stuff, but I still trip so hard, you know what I mean, when you know, the way he blew up, and I remember like, yo, this dude was just, you know what I mean? just in my basement on my table, you know, and we were just rocking stuff out. I remember switching chords, you know, between my sequencer and my S950, you know what I mean, and recording all that stuff. And we were downstairs. I was still living with my parents at the time, you know what I mean?
Right.
93. When we started kind of collaborating, but yeah, blew up. I probably forgot a bunch of names, but yeah.
Great. You got a lot of people. You got a lot of people outside of the crew and within the crew, you know.
Yeah. So Sub-Z's on some newer songs. Boogeyman Ghost is on some newer tracks. We could talk about the stuff that's on deck. That's
yeah.
So to speak. I did stuff with Tony Blackman. I did stuff with her crew. I did stuff with that I just probably just forgot, man. So many people sang over the beats and
right.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's dope. That's real dope, man. Okay, so outside of music, what are your other passions?
By my day job is, you know, people don't know this about me, but my day job, I'm very heavy into like web design and digital experience, like user experience design. I design and code like a lot of interfaces and websites. That's my day labor job, you know what I mean? It's interesting. It's very interesting, but I think it's a happy medium. I'm not, you know, no complaints and all that stuff, because it's not like I hate the work and all that stuff, but you know, I do so many things at once. And the other passion, if you will, was before hip hop. I used to draw so much, you know what I mean? I used to draw comics, and I used to sit in front of the TV and draw. I used to draw flip cartoons. And when I went back to Howard and changed my major, I started to revisit traditional art. So paintings, you know, all kinds of dry mediums, inks. I love figurative art, you know what I mean? Portrait and figurative art. I popped a couple, you know, little screenshots on IG.
Word.
And I started that like I think it was like 2019. And I'm just, you know, kind of keeping that alive. But now, since this whole COVID thing, I just delved into it, and it was like I never stopped, you know what I mean? Like I felt like a kid again in front of the TV, just drawing all the time. So now, I'm figurative art, painting, drawing, even digital stuff. I'm, you know, digital painting. That's one thing. And lots of graphic design. All that is just one big thing that I just do. I just see everything as one thing. You know, even the beats, you know, because when I make beats, I visualize the beats. I see the beats. I don't just
right. That's really dope. Like, so you can get into both passions basically.
Yeah,
but drawing. and then you can go back to beats and get to drawing. It's like sort of the same method from your love to create and put it out there. You know what
I
I mean?
would recommend that every, because it's so hard to juggle. It's so hard to juggle. And every times where I remember you were reaching out to me while you were you in Chinatown? But I think you were in New York and China. But you were reaching out to me, and you'd be like, "You still doing beats?" You know what I mean? Like, I don't know my stuff, but yeah, it's been a while. But I don't know. You know what I mean? I remember talking to you while I was at work, and and texting you and all that stuff.
Right.
But
Well, no, I had to check on you, man. I was just like, yo, what's Cyrus doing?
You'll always be appreciated for that, man, because there was a time I probably thought I stopped. Like I said, well, I guess it's over. I haven't touched the music in a while and all that stuff. But
right.
You guys doing the whole amphibian thing, reviving that, and just that whole thing, and then hate to say, because a lot of people are suffering, but the COVID situation and this pandemic and the whole what do you call it, quarantine thing, where everybody just had to just stay home.
Yeah.
Silver lining like a motherfucker, because I'll be at work and I'll be on, doing virtual meetings and all that stuff, and I'll be working on other things, painting and stuff like that, or listening to the meetings. Like I can cook, I'll be cooking, so now I can just do things from the company without having to commute. That's a major fucking thing, you know what I mean?
It's a blessing not to have. Well, can I say like this? It's a curse and a blessing. It's a blessing because you have no excuse at all of not doing it, right?
Yeah.
So you have all the time. You're at home, like, all right. So I was like, okay, I'm in Abu Dhabi, but I have Zoom. So I'm going to reach out to these dudes. You know what I mean?
Nice.
And that's how we started to continue this journey
Absolutely.
of revisiting history and then exposing it out. Stuff that we were supposed to do when we were recording back then, but now we have the resources, right?
Right.
So that's dope. And we all you know what I'm saying? Learning how to do things, learning how to edit video, stuff like that, man. So I mean, it's really like a blessing at the same time because you have no excuse. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was a good time. I was like, okay, this has to be the perfect time to get them together.
Give some shout outs. I remember some more people that I collab with. Priest and Nomad, Asheru, big up to all these guys. YU came all the way to Virginia while I stayed in a false church for a hot second. He came through and did some stuff and never put it out. But trust me, I got all those recordings. So it's gonna come out somehow in a mixtape or something. So let me just warn y'all ahead. It's all.
Big up to YU. He was on this show as well.
Yeah. Dope.
Yeah, man, very talented brother. Very dope. So let's see. So you became inspired again. So what sparked it, and what is next for you?
Okay, so let me just say, I think when I joined Instagram, because I wasn't really fucking with Facebook like that, and I would be on Facebook, but I'd be like, I'm like, okay, all right. Instagram comes on. I said, okay. I said Instagram is only gonna, because when I started actually doing my doing more of my visual art practice and all that stuff, then I said, okay, I'm gonna use Instagram for the art. You know what I mean? And I wanted to keep the Instagram and Facebook separate, but that's hard to do because they always kind of just, it's owned by Facebook anyway. So Facebook trying to get up in there. So people that I knew in Facebook was coming up in there, and I remember keeping in touch with you, and then that's when I started seeing you guys. It's like, revamping the whole Amphbns things and rebranding it. Dope logo, by the way. I like the way y'all is respelling everything. I like the graphics, all that stuff, beautiful stuff. Big up to y'all on that. But I think y'all were major in that. But it happened simultaneously with other things too. You know what I mean? Because I never stopped music. I DJ'd a lot. So I don't know why I haven't been talking about that. There was a whole set of years where I was just DJing.
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
So what were you playing? Like what kind of music were you sharing, and what was your style, let's say, of DJing?
music lovers music. You know, motherfuckers who love music. You know what I mean? So any genre, you know, so you know, stuff that you play. You know what I mean? Because you know the sound. You see, we were playing hip hop, and I'm talking about like pure hip hop, playing like electronica music from so Afro house, Afro beat, broken beat. You know what I mean? Or new jazz, old stuff from the '70s, like '80s, anything that sounds that's like incredibly soulful and stuff. So I was DJing a lot. I stopped. You know, COVID stopped me on that whole thing, but I didn't have no residency. But I'll be DJing. Well, for someone who does it on the side, that's a lot. I'll be DJing like maybe 4 or 5 times a year at some event. You know what I mean? Usually when it was warm. You know what I mean? I've done some parties. So that was my thing, to stay hanging around music. You know what I mean?
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's,
you know,
dope.
Yeah.
When do you think you'll do it again?
I mean, I wanna collab with y'all because I know y'all do. Zach is Slim Cat is you know, doing some live sessions and all that stuff. I've been talking to him. I've been, you know, chopping it up with him because we all getting together, getting all the stuff from these tapes. You know?
There you go. You got gems right there, y'all. You got gems,
on, man. Tapes. You know what I mean? See that?
I swear, you and Bridge, yo. You and Bridge got all the all the
Bridge, man. We got together and get some of the what do you call it? Just see what everybody has. I think between all of us.
That's dope. You got it, man. Those are real gems, yo. There's some joints that Slim Cat told me that you got that. I was like, wow, he got that joint? Like, like, damn, that's good. Like, you preserved it. You know what I mean? Like, that's really crazy. Like, I can't wait to hear it. Like, you know.
Yeah.
And hopefully, you know, there's a volume 3 coming out. So basically, volume 2 is coming out soon. Called Heavy Water.
We got ammo for plenty of volumes.
Yeah, definitely. Big up
to Trev Goodchild. I don't know if he's called that now anymore. He's pretty elusive, huh? Anyway.
Trev Goodchild is in the UK.
Right.
He's doing good. He's doing good.
Okay, good. Keeping up with him.
You know, we'll hear from him hopefully this year.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah. Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
DC hip hop has a lot of history. Sorry, Brooklyn. From your experience, what would you like to see unfold?
Man, I'm just whoever I'm in contact with, because I think I'm a simple person, so I love hanging around music, man. So the world can blow up around me, and it'll be just me in a room, and any of my musical files. I just love, like, I'm pretty much introverted in the sense that I'm a kind of an omega type personality, you know what I mean, where I'm just self-contained, you know what I mean?
Right.
I stay hanging around good music. I always love going and finding anything that's new to me. It could be old or whatever. It's just new to me. There'd be songs I'd be playing on repeat. I just love soulful music. You know what I mean? So as far as coming out of DC, I want to see people that I'm in contact with. Outside of that, I'm not really up on, like. I mean, I stay in the know on who's dope, that's out there in DC and beyond. Like, if you're dope, I don't care. It doesn't matter where you're from. But as far as to answer your question, y'all, and anybody that I know from the area. So Sub-Z's working on new things. Well, I'm not sure how I was supposed to say that. Y'all working on things. I see why you always cooking and posting stuff. I'm looking out for y'all, and y'all basically make me like, oh shit. I got things that need closure. So no, yeah, that's the fuel, man. That's the fuel that keeps me going, as far as like, and seeing y'all do stuff. Like, we're in our 40s, you know what I mean? And I'm sorry to put that on blast, but we're in our 40s.
Yes, I'm in my 40s.
You ever do a text like, how old are we or something like that? Because as long as it's like, it's not stop, you know what I mean? So just ride the wave, it's just, it definitely speaks to that whole notion that basically, you know, all you have is now, you know.
Right.
Just to,
Well,
you know, being in
I'm
the
glad on behalf of all the amphibians. We're glad that you're inspired, and hopefully, you know, we'll hear more from you.
you will.
For all the people that are here, like where can okay, in the future, right? When you do put your stuff out, where can they find you on social media?
Well, I'm setting things up, but okay, so let's just talk about that. So upcoming projects, a lot of unfinished business. We did okay, so they're in like the mid to, you know, edging on the late 2000s, right? So between 2000, well, I'm not even going to tell you how early 2000 was, because, and then into, I think past 2010, me, Juma, C was in New York, but C came down and did some things, you know what I mean? Kyoto Nemo, then, Smack, shout out to Quiz. Quiz was a big member in Hibernation too, but he was our remote member, did some dope stuff. But I call his name out too because we recorded a bunch of songs, you know what I mean? And they're all excellent quality, probably the best quality that you ever hear, you know what I mean? Because again, I did it on Cubase and the shit sound dope. Now again, that's a whole nother discussion. You want to talk about why that shit never came out, but that's that, you know what I mean? But nonetheless, it's about how many tracks? I would say about 12, 13 tracks. Then, and right now, I'm mixing it up with, shit, I don't care. I'm gonna put up Ghost, Rub Love, Quiz, and then I would love to do a group track with them, with some people from the Amphbns. I'm gonna set that all up to be that last track on the album, but it's the Hibernation project. And I mean, people have heard me talk about that during that time and all that stuff, but it is unfinished business. So I am piecing it together. My man Slim Cat is helping me with the, you know, get everything down, you know what I mean, and finalize the sound. We're not even re-recording the songs because the songs, literally so many songs are done. Right. So look, single within the next 2 months, literally. And then we're gonna release the whole project from there, and it's gonna be about probably like we do 12 and 14 tracks. And then I told you about the unfinished business with Inshallah. So I would ideally like to do a few re-recordings and all that stuff. But we have some. That's about 8 tracks right there. So I think I'm gonna call it the Inshallah tapes or something like that. Right. And be the original tracks. You know what I mean?
Right. Now you heard it here first on Fresh Combos. Hopefully we get to hear those joints, yo. Definitely, man. That's great. I mean, you guys broke down your name to HYB.
Right? Just like how your names in whatever.
Well, our reason was because every band out there, I don't know, like bluegrass band is called Amphbns, so we needed to change up. We needed to change up our name. Plus, we couldn't use the full name.
I like it though. It's tight.
Yeah, I like it too. Like, it's weird, but it's just Who thought of that? It's still spelled the same, but it's like, people get it.
But who thought of that? Who did that? I bet it was Juma, right?
I think it was Juma or C, like the Juma brothers.
yeah.
Word.
So big up. No, I love it. I like the logo and everything. I like the whole
word. Big up to Kobe. Kobe did this logo right here.
Right.
Universal logo that can come in all colors. We represent colors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being on Fresh Convo Season 2.
Absolutely.
This was definitely a dope conversation.
Nice.
I'm pretty excited. I'm glad that you are inspired to do music again, and hopefully we'll be hearing some stuff. Check out his artwork on Instagram. Very dope sketches. Everything's just it's got This guy is like, you know, oh yeah, HYB. Seed said handle your business. There you go. There
I know.
you go.
It's all good. We got some wonderful stuff. Yeah, some singles will be coming out. I think the actual first single, I'm like, I don't got nothing to hide. I think it's gonna be that HYB theme track I have 2 solid versions of that track alone. They're both dope. So I think that's gonna be one of the singles on that joint. But we did some. I think you've heard a couple of these, but yeah,
I think I've heard some, but when he says it's dope, it's dope.
And we got all kinds of like little cameos and all that stuff. It's loaded. So Sub-Z already did a joint with us.
Right.
Roy did some recordings. Shout out to Jay Scales, a bass player with a dope ass voice. She did some intro recordings for our intro. So all that stuff is there. Look out for it. I'm an anchor. I'm an anchor. You know what I mean?
That's dope. Yo, and make sure you guys check out Amphbns.com. Get the merch. Yeah. Merch is available. Also, Philly's Lullaby lyric video is out. You got See Popular's My Music theme is out. Khalil Jamal's New York City Minute. Boogeyman Ghost, The Years. And then the Incomparable Breathe joint by Philly. And Naima Purdue is out. More coming on the way. Check out the website. And please subscribe to YouTube. And next week on Fresh Combos, we got my man, Monk 39.
Nice.
He interviewed me like a while back, which started like, you know, he introduced a lot. He actually interviewed a lot of DC artists, so from b-boys to like MCs, and shit is dope. So we're gonna have him on the show. Right. And then I think after him is Drew Kid.
Oh,
Filipino brother Drew Kid. Okay. Very talented brother. So check it out, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Cyrus, I thank you very much. I'll give you a call. Make sure you're doing the beats and those edits.
Keep checking them. But it's gonna be easy this time. Like I said, 90% of the stuff is done. So it's just a matter of just like tweaking it, putting it out there. So I think you guys.
Yeah. By the way, Wax Wednesday. I'm sorry I went over my time, Slim Cat. But tune in for Wax Wednesdays. My man Slim Cat got some of that dope vinyl for you.
Playing them jewels.
You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, definitely check that out next on here. All right, y'all. Peace and love. One.
Hey, thanks, man. Talk to you soon.
9 o'clock. Yes, it's at 9 o'clock. So
okay.
Like, go on Amphbns IG at 9 o'clock. Wax Wednesdays. Word. All right, yo. One.